So I, as much as I thought I was ready, I'm in full panic mode. I reach out to my regional director and I'm like, this is what I have. I said, I am like panicking. Like, what do I do? Everything I learned in that 3 weeks went right out the window. He put me in touch with Bob. I'm on the phone. I'm practically like, Bob, this is what I got. Like, how did you make out? And to me, I was just like, I was truly blown away, because here's a man who does not know me, does not benefit from in any way possible. And he helped me out to the point where, like, send me pictures, show me what you have, and I'll tell you what to do. And yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for him, I would have been stuck.
Wow. Welcome to the Mitigation Handbook Podcast. I'm David Baker, and I'm here with Bob Jordan. Bob, how are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Great. Today we have a guest here that you've come to know and have worked with.
Well, it's my friend Sal Gaetano, and he's out of a PuroClean franchise in New Jersey. So he's quite a distance from me. I'm in Seattle, but can't get much further. Nevertheless, Sal and I are friends. He's new to the industry. He was new to the PuroClean franchise, and we had a little hand in helping him do something that perhaps he wouldn't have been able to have done otherwise. So we're
That's great.
happy about that.
Sal, thank you for joining us here for this episode.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So really eager to hear about your story, because you've been in one line of business for 30 years, and then you entered into this new line of business. So maybe talk a little bit about your background and what you've done with, seeing the background at FIA. And then how did you start into this new space with PuroClean?
Sure. So I started FIA back in 2003. We are independent claims adjusters working for various insurance carriers where we administer their claims. And we handle everything from general liability to property claims. Well, over the last few years, I started noticing some invoices coming in from various restoration companies. And when I was looking at the invoices, I just started thinking, well, this is probably something we should start looking into and getting involved in. Few years passed, really didn't do much of anything with it. But then since COVID and with AI, I started noticing something happening on the claim side. So I went back to the restoration, started really looking into that hard, because quite honestly, I feel like claims is going to change, and with AI taking over, our involvement is going to diminish. So carriers aren't going to need our full services as much as they used to. So I started looking at it. Well, we need to really start looking at a different revenue stream here. So talked it over with my wife, and we started looking at various restoration companies. Never thought about franchise. But the more I kept responding to ads, the more I kept coming back to franchise. So after looking at several different franchises, we ultimately just settled on PuroClean. The main reason was we were looking at was the really the support. And I can go into this a little bit more, because from what I've seen and everything that's happened so far, Bob is the epitome of support.
That's great. Well, you did before you even knew Bob, you went to PuroClean because you saw that they had great support. And then
Correct. Yep.
How did you get connected to Bob once you got started with PuroClean? How did you two find each other?
So that's a great question. So when you first start with the franchise, you go through what they call NFT. It's 3 weeks of training, and they train you on everything from starting your running operations to actually hands-on water mitigation and applied structural drying. And you come out of that 3 weeks and you're like, yes, I'm ready. I can hit the ground running. I go out and I do some marketing. I leave this one institution, and I leave, and I'm right down the street, and he calls me and he goes, "Hey, we're ready to put you to work." Great. It was a sewer backup.
No.
So I, as much as I thought I was ready, I'm in full panic mode. I reach out to my regional director and I'm like, this is what I have. I said, I am like panicking. Like, what do I do? Everything I learned in that 3 weeks went right out the window. He puts me in touch with Bob. I'm on the phone. I'm practically like, Bob, this is what I got. Like, voice, just calm him. I mean, he was able to calm me down and just walk me through. And I'll never forget when the job was done. I went to my wife. I said, "This is exactly why we chose PuroClean, because of this support." I said, and Bob, who doesn't know me from Adam, took time out of his day to help me, and not only help me, but calls me after. I believe it was like a day or two after, calls me, "How did you make out?" And to me, I was just like, I was truly blown away, because here's a man who does not know me, does not benefit from in any way possible. And he helped me out to the point where, like, send me pictures, show me what you have, and I'll tell you what to do. And yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for him, I would have been stuck.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Bob, do you remember that? Do you remember connecting with him back? Well, how long ago
Like-
was this? About 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
So we just started March.
Oh,
We officially opened our door in March.
okay. Oh,
Yeah. So,
brand
so one of the things, and Sal did touch on it, is PuroClean has an excellent support network. So they have regional directors, and they have a regional director specifically assigned to new franchise owners for their first few months in the business. And I'm excellent friends with that with that regional director. And so the way that we work it is he handles everything except field work. And he refers his new owners to me whenever they call him with
I
a
see.
question on something, because
Yeah.
any regional director is probably a few years removed from being in the field.
Yeah.
Even if they have been a restoration company owner in the past, and we have some of our regional directors are just that.
Yeah.
Yet that was many years ago. And they, even if they know what to do, they may not be able to give you the fine tuning part that you need in order to actually do the work.
Right. Right. And that's one of the things that you've
You know-
talked about a lot, is that you're actually out in the field still. You still go out. You just went out on Friday. You took a ferry and went and served a customer on the outskirts.
Yeah. And later this afternoon, I'm going to be going to a wine company that has some microbial growth inside of a refrigerator.
I see.
Well, they can't turn anything off. They want to know if we can do something more than a Band-Aid. Well, yeah, we can. We've got superior chemistry.
Yeah.
We know how it works, and we have experience with it. And that's the kind of thing that we want to share with others, because like Sal said, when he saw that first Cat 3 job, I remember when I was a new owner 10 years ago, and one of the guys in our new franchise training, NFT, that Sal was speaking about, one of those guys had a partner, and his partner had gone to the NFT session immediately before the session that I was in, and his partner was in that class. Well, during our course, after we'd had, the applied structural drying course, the water restoration technician course, and we thought we had it all together. And then he got some photographs from his partner on a new job, and all of us go racing over to look at these pictures. And it was a little bathroom problem. Somebody probably spilled a Dixie cup worth of water, and they needed some help. And I mean, it was something very simple, but when I first looked at it, my mouth went dry, just cotton mouth, and my heart skips a beat, and I'm thinking, what do you do?
Right.
I don't know what to do.
And that was
And I
a Dixie cup water thing. This was not a backed up sewer. It's a whole different level.
Exactly. No, and when Sal came through it fine, and one of the things that I'm observing, we have a mentor program there's a mentor program at PuroClean, and I've run a number of people through my shop over the years, and they've got two things in common. Number one, they are bright, they're ambitious, they want to do a good job. That's one. And the other is they don't know what they're doing, because the restoration space is very specific. It isn't concepts that's going to get you to get the job completed. You need to know actual chemistry, actual processes, actual supplies, actual techniques, actual testing. I mean, you've got to know exactly what to do. And that's what gave birth to the Mitigation Handbook, and then the website, the mitigationhandbook.com, where we have links to all of this stuff, and we'll explain it. And the book gives away all the secrets, and the website tells you where to get everything. So it's Sal's story is exactly what we wrote it for.
Sal, what was it like? Because Bob, you've often talked about you go through the training, and the training is good. There's nothing wrong with the training.
No,
it's really, really good training. But there's still a little gap between finishing the training and actually getting your hands on the work. Sal, what was it like actually finishing that training, and then what kinds of things did you find helpful from Bob? What approaches, or where did you find his guidance or his book to be helpful as you bridge that gap from training to actual work?
So sadly, I didn't get his book till weeks later after I started the business. Looking back, I wish I got it before I left NFT, to be honest with you, because there's information in the book where if I had the book and I read that, I probably, I'm sure I would have, but I probably wouldn't have had to have called. I'll give you an example. We had our second job was an odor, nicotine and smoke odor job. Again, I reach out to Bob, and he's very helpful. These are all the steps you want to take. Well, a lot of that's in his book. So I could have just easily if I had his book, I could have just read that and just saved him some time from doing that. But again, that's to the point of the support that you get.
Yeah.
And Bob is there again, not knowing me, but still willing to help.
And so what's it like being on the other side? I mean, you were doing all this adjusting, and now you're actually out there doing the work.
Yeah.
What's it like being on the other side of things?
So completely different. We would look on the claim side, all we're really getting is the restoration company. We're getting their report. So we see what they did. And a lot of times we are sitting there trying to reduce that invoice and reduce some of the line items that they have in there. So now I'm on the flip side, and
you're trying to get those back in.
Exactly. So, but you kind of know from being on that side, how important it is for documentation. So if you're going to have a line item in your estimate, you better have documentation to support that line item. Yeah. So that I got, but again, that's also in what Bob talks about is documentation. And he stresses that in the book. So if you're coming in and you have zero restoration experience, you don't understand. And they touch on that in your training, right? About documentation and why it's so important and why you want to do it. But you come out of it and you're like, do I, how much what's the proper documentation? Well, Bob has it in there, and he even has the examples of all the pictures that he has in there supporting his line items in his reports. So you actually see what he's doing. Things are awesome. We just hired our second full-time technician. So we now have 2 full-time technicians. One's a lead tech, and then we also have 1 part-time tech. We also have a business development representative as well. So really between my contacts, him going, our BDR going out, doing sales calls, and some stuff we're getting through Google. We're actually busy.
Right.
Thank God. I mean, our techs are right now, they're on 5 days a week and probably going to be switching over to 6 days for the next 4 weeks.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Great to hear.
Yep.
What advice would you have? It's not like you've been in business for years, but you've got 3-4 months under your belt. What advice would you give to somebody who's considering starting a franchise or getting into this business?
Definitely rely on your regional director and the support that's out there that the franchise gives you. It's very valuable. I mean, if you have any questions, pick up the phone. Don't sit there try to guess at it. I find that this business is not something that you can just fake it till you make it type thing and go out. If you don't know, figure it out before you get out there on that job. And if you have to, pick up that phone and call and ask a bunch of questions. If you can, I would definitely highly recommend Bob's book. Because it helps you on everything from how to set up your van, which doesn't sound like a big thing, but when you have limited space and you're trying to cram everything into your van, it just doesn't work. So Bob actually details how to set up your van, when to add your staff, how to set up your facilities. So it's truly a blueprint for success in the restoration business. So I would highly recommend everybody get the book and then really just rely on your support system.
That's terrific. That's great advice. And Bob, it's so great to have Sal, because this is what you're doing it for. You have a heart and a passion for people getting into this business and becoming successful, right?
Yeah, I do. And, next week we're going to devote the podcast to cigarette smoke odor removal. Well, that's a specialty in our industry. Water, fire, mold, those are the core services. But things like cigarette smoke odor, those are specialty services. And no franchisor is able to prepare somebody to do specialty stuff. Sometimes it's hard to even hit the core items in the very limited amount of time that they have for NFTs. So that's why they have regional directors and other support, and you call other PuroCleans and, you get your help. Or if you're with any franchise, if you're with ServPro, if you're with 911, if you're with Rainbow, whoever you're with, you want to use the resources that are made available to you. Yeah. And we'll supplement that. When Sal called me about the cigarette smoke odor job, I thought, perfect. I mean, we know exactly what to do, and we coached him through it, and he went and did it and got paid for it. And getting paid for stuff is important when you're starting out. You're really building a base and everything counts. And that's one of the reasons, again, why we put, there's different experts in the field, and they cater to the guy who's way established, and they're working with high-end contractors, and they're teaching some very specialty items. But who's taking care of the brand new guy, which is on the other end of the spectrum?
Yeah.
And the way that the guy gets to be a high-end person down the road is that they got through the earlier times and learned how to do stuff. I came from a different industry, and I was capable in the industry that I was in, but restoration has got very specific requirements, and they're not intuitive. You don't necessarily know where to get stuff or how to apply it. So again, that's part of the reason why we wrote the book and chat with people. And like I shared before, David, not a week goes by, and this has been well over a year now, not a week goes by that somebody somewhere across the country calls me, sends me pictures, asks for some advice. And, earlier guys that I did that with, it's it's very rare that they call anymore because now they're up to speed.
Right,
They have got
right.
equipment, they've got experience, they were coached through it, and now they're on their way. But it's that first, the first week you're in the field, the first month you're in the field.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you do when you get an attic mold inspection and you've had no mold cleaning experience or a cigarette smoke odor job? So those are the
Sal,
guys
looks
that
like you're already doing that too. You're doing the cigarette smoke odor. You're doing a variety of specialty services. So you're well on your way.
Yeah. We actually have another job coming up next week. It's same thing.
That's
with
fantastic.
the odor.
Oh, well, it's great.
Yeah.
Great to hear. And Sal, thank you for joining us. It's been
my pleasure.
Great to meet you. And Bob, thank you for another great episode. We'll see you next week for more on cigarette.